to Spotlight, where we feature the University of Central Arkansas's College of Fine Arts and Communication. I'm Donna Lampkin-Stevens. I'm joined today by my friend Dr. Kevin Brown, who is, what's the title, Director of Theater?
It's actually called Program Coordinator.
Program Coordinator for
But
Theater.
I like Director of Theater. If you want to call me Director of Theater, I'll take it.
Okay. He's in charge.
It's the same job, but just one name sounds a little better than the other one, the one I don't have.
And Chris Millam, who is a sophomore theater major at UCA, and we're glad to have you here. You both returning guests on Spotlight, so let's talk UCA Theater.
Excellent.
Okay, so next up is Fool for Love, the Sam Shepard play, and it's going to open February the 20th.
Day after tomorrow.
Thursday.
And it's going to run February 20th, 21st, 27th, and 28th at 7:30, and at 2 o'clock on February 22nd and 28th.
That's right.
And
Saturday matinees.
In the Snow Fine Arts Center's Bridges Larson Theater. So tell us about the play and how you're directing, obviously, and you're playing Eddie.
Eddie, yeah.
Okay, great. So how did we come up with this play? Is this your pick?
Well, we have a season selection committee, so.
But I'm sure you sort of jockey and lobby.
Oh,
for
I
your,
do. I do.
I'm sure everyone does.
I do, but it wasn't. It actually was not a title that I brought to the discussion.
Really? Okay.
Discussion in the first place. Now that happens a lot. But
did you know it was your time to?
Yes.
You were going to get this
yes,
play.
Yes.
Whatever
and
it was.
So I certainly. I can't remember because we're 2 years out.
Yeah.
But I probably batted away some things and made this one happen. I have a real affinity for Sam Shepard, and we haven't done him in a while. There was a student-directed production of Curse of the Starving Class, which is part of this group of domestic dramas, family dramas that Shepard wrote smack at I think the height of his powers. And there was a student-directed production of that, but there's never been, since I've been here, a main stage production of a major Shepard play, and so it's.
This is
I
exciting.
was really, really glad that students were interested in this particular piece, and because I was.
And Kevin, you got here what year?
2003.
2003. So it's been a generation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. So Chris, what about your experience with this play? Had you?
Did
you know about it?
Yeah, I knew about it. I read the show. I fell in love with it, and then I was immediately just trying to do everything I can to get the part.
He lobbied for it quite a lot.
Oh, did he?
Quite.
He's
a lot.
quite a go-getter.
He is a go-getter.
I would kind of push his buttons a little bit, so I'd be like, Eddie's a pretty cool guy. I think there's someone in the department that can play him pretty well.
So let's talk about the play as a whole, Kevin. You talk in a press release about it's not only an outward fight. There's all this inward drama as well.
I don't know how to enter this. First of all, Shepard is mysterious and confusing for people because it's very surreal what's going on, but it seems completely real. It's a trick. I don't know how he does that. Pinter's like that a little bit too, and Shepard's biggest influence is Beckett.
Okay.
So these worlds that are in Shepard's case, not in Beckett's so much, but in Shepard's case, these worlds that have the accoutrements of reality, but the things that happen within the world they begin to fragment. And the narrative begins to fragment, and it's really difficult to say for certain what's true and what's not true, what happened, what didn't happen, what's going to happen, what's not going to happen. And in the midst of all that is a really emotionally violent and at times physically violent romantic relationship in which the two participants are trying like crazy to write the script for the relationship and for themselves, and really battling it out for control of the narrative, for control of what's supposedly true. And I don't, well, I'll leave it up to y'all, but I'm not sure we find out with any certainty.
One of those we'll be thinking about after we.
I hope so.
Yeah.
I hope so.
So have you directed this before?
No.
Okay. Okay.
No, I've actually never directed Shepherd before
Oh, really?
at all.
Okay.
So
Okay.
it's a bucket list,
Yeah, I
bucket
bet.
list author for sure.
I bet. So Chris, tell us about Eddie and why you wanted that part.
I don't know. I remember reading it in my apartment living room one day, and
Like last year?
yeah, I think so.
Since you've been here?
Yeah,
Okay.
last year. I
Okay.
think it was last year because we'll get the plays ahead of time, so we
Mm-hmm.
can read it ahead of time. And I remember reading it, and I was just I didn't really fall in love with Eddie immediately. I fell in love with the play immediately,
Mm-hmm.
where I just read the play, and I was just like, kind of in awe of like, did that just happen, sort of thing. Where I was like, so now what? Like I was left with that feeling of now what. And so then I just fell in love with the show, and I immediately knew I wanted to play Eddie.
So how many audition? And do you audition for particular parts, or you just audition and then you put people where you think they should be?
Yes. Yes. The way it works is, and all UCA students are welcome to audition.
Even non-theater majors?
Of course, absolutely. In fact, community people are welcome to audition too. Although
that's good to
although
know.
we do offer, we do privilege UCA
Sure.
students over community people. But
We do have someone from the community in the show, too.
My old friend and many people's old friend, Tom McLeod, who's been in a number of things I've directed, at least two, and been in a bunch of student one acts. He's playing a character called, no kidding, the old man. So when you start getting cast as the old man, that'll tell you something. So there was really nobody in the student population, and there are
Sure.
sometimes is a non-trad student that you can put in a role like that, but there really wasn't anybody, and he's great for the part. Anyway, everyone does a monologue, or maybe two, depends on what else is auditioned at the time. Greg Blakey and Mornings at 7 auditioned at the same time. So we saw a whole bunch of monologues, and then we each called back people to read for
Particular
for
parts.
particular
Okay.
parts, or maybe a couple of different parts. You know, maybe we're not sure if they fit here or there, but in the process of reading with them, then we whittle that down.
And so, like, how many people auditioned, and for how many parts would you say?
We probably had 45 or 50 auditions for, gosh, I don't know how many Mornings at 7 has.
I don't know.
Mornings at 7 probably has
Quite a bit.
12,
Yeah, it's a bigger cast.
maybe 13, 14, and we have 4.
Okay.
So there were about 20 parts.
That seems like that's a good number of auditions.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, that's
No, it
great.
was a
Have
good-
you noticed, are those numbers going up? Are people coming out to, or are they the same people?
Boy, that's a
over and over?
great question. It sort of goes up and down.
Sure.
We tend to go in waves, and it kind of depends on who the next freshman class is. Really tells us what things are going to be like for a while.
Yeah.
And I do have to say, and some of them are graduating, making me sad, but we have an excellent group right now. It's a golden age right now
Of
at
UCA
Theater. It
Right,
really is.
Right. So tell us about the other cast and crew members and.
Sydney Kelly plays May. You may have seen Sydney in Dutchman 2 or 3 years ago. She is primarily
senior?
She is a senior, and she's graduating. She's primarily a stage manager,
Okay.
but she's a damn good actor.
Yeah.
And Tom's the old man, as I said, and J.T. Brown, Jacob Tyler Brown, is playing Martin, and doing a wonderful job.
Great job. Everyone.
And he's what, a sophomore, or is he a junior?
Junior.
He's a junior. He was in Richard.
Richard,
And he was also in
Tis Pity.
Tis Pity
Okay.
last year. And yeah, so I think our cast is, I would say, is made up of veterans. Greg may have one or two brand new people. I'm not as I don't remember since we've
Now
been working on this.
He's coming on late. His production is later.
Yes, his
Yes,
production
yes.
is in April.
Yes, so we'll.
And he's got a whole group. This is his
Farewell.
His farewell, and he wanted.
We'll have him on
He
later.
wanted to. Yeah, please do.
We will.
And he's got a whole bunch of alums coming in to design for him.
Oh, great. Great,
Who are out there working professionally and are going to come in and design for him. So that's going to be really sweet. Anyway, we've got a guest lighting designer, someone that you also probably know, Danny Grace, formerly of Hendrix College, now freelancing and apparently busier than ever.
Yeah, he's
And
great.
he's just a great artist. And Heather Robison is our scene designer. So we also have a guest scene designer, and she's doing a terrific job. It's wonderful working with them. And a whole bunch of student assistant scene designers, stage manager, assistant stage manager, light board and soundboard operators. So they're, aside from the cast, they're probably 8 or 10 students who are doing design and tech work
Wonderful.
on the production. So we've got a big team, particularly considering we only have 4 actors.
Yeah. So Chris, give us a little of your background. I know you were in Richard III. Was that last fall?
Last semester.
spring? Okay, last
Yeah.
fall. Okay.
Yeah, it was last fall. I don't know. I've been doing theater all my life, really.
And you grew up in Oklahoma?
Yeah, I grew up in Oklahoma. So like my first show I ever did was in 3rd grade. It was Mackie B.
Okay.
And played Lady Macduff's son.
And you were hooked immediately.
Yeah, I just started doing it. It was kind of like I played football all my life too, and I played football, but it was just kind of I had a natural thing for acting, and so I've just been doing it all my life. I did Richard III, I did Lungs last year.
And you were what now in Richard?
We played multiple characters.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, I played.
yeah. How many?
I think I played like 4 different people. Primarily Ratcliffe. That was like my
Okay.
main character. I did Lungs last year, which is directed by Rebecca
Scarlett.
Yep, and she's the artistic director for Arkansas Shakes, which that was a great thing to be able to work with her. Yeah, I think I've been cast in
Every
about everything.
production that since
I think
you've been
so.
here.
Yeah. Not to toot my own horn or anything, but no, I try to keep myself busy.
Toot. Go ahead.
Yeah. He's one of our stars, Kevin, isn't he?
Here's the thing about Chris. Aside from being talented and good looking, he's has his work ethic, his drive, his proactivity, his willingness to study and learn. That's what it takes. Normally, I would be telling him this in private, but since you gave me the opportunity, he's really impressed me with his as I say, his work ethic. And
So Chris, you took a gap year after graduating from high school and did
Yes.
what?
So my brother was living in Orange County, California, and at the time I was like, I don't want to go to college. I want to be an actor. And and so then I go to California, and I realized that that's whenever I realized that acting is a craft. You can't just pick it up. You have to learn. So then I figured out pretty fast that I needed to get training. And so then I just started doing research about where I could get training and where would the money, what's going to be the best opportunity for me, where I'm going to be able to get the most parts. Because if I were to go to a school like University of New York, I won't get any main stage time unless I went to graduate school. So here I'm able to actually be cast in good roles and being able to get that stage time and that experience.
Wise beyond your years.
It's a great undergraduate program
Yeah.
because of the opportunities.
Right.
And the growth then is like bang, bang, bang.
Yeah.
Because you have to live up to what you've been cast to do. So
that's been one of my favorite things about this department is that every role isn't really the same, Like for Lungs, I played a character that was a little bit more on the soft side, and this character is not on the soft side. He lassos, and he cleans a shotgun, and he does a whole bunch of cowboy stuff.
And gets hit a lot.
Yeah. This show, he gets beat up.
That's just
So let's talk about that.
Yeah,
the
good,
combat.
let's. Let's.
So tell us about it.
Well, Augustine Wynn, under the mentorship of Chris Fritzkes, and I'm back up a little bit. We're doing a lot of stage combat. Chris Fritzkes has gotten very, very involved in certification and in learning all kinds of stage combat, and so we're really becoming a stage combat powerhouse in the region, and that's really, really exciting. So and I didn't really put those two things together when we were choosing the script, but there's a huge amount of unarmed stage combat in the play that Augustine wrote and taught the actors, and of course we have a fight call every night, and these fights are just getting better and better and better and better, and it's just so much fun.
So how do you learn to do that?
Well, I
And
have.
can you demonstrate anything?
I don't think so. I think I would need a partner. If you want, we did a slap kind of earlier.
Yeah,
but
we could try.
We could try it.
You want us to?
Yeah, I
All
do
right, all
because
right.
I think this would be interesting. Now let's.
Okay, so where do you want us?
You need to be standing.
You trust me as your
Okay.
partner?
Let's see,
All right,
let's
let's
see.
see
Okay,
this.
Chris is way better at this than I am.
Because
so
you're not certified.
I'm certified, but not in stage combat. In fact, if there's a car out there waiting to take me away after this. Okay, so what I'm supposed to do is come down here, and this is a slap. So I'm supposed to come down here at his shoulder, and then back across to my shoulder.
Okay.
So notice at no time does my hand ever go across his face, unlike the Three Stooges. And then, you'll see what he does. Yeah. So let's see if I can do this. Mm-hmm. And I got to cue him so he knows it's coming. Did it work? How'd that look? And then I'm going to come across to my own left shoulder, and supposedly it's going to look like a slap. Meanwhile, he's going to react and make the sound called the nap in a way that's going to sell the thing. Okay? Here we go. Ready? Mm-hmm. And I'm going to cue him first.
Okay. So how do you not? How do you not crack up laughing? Or do you do that at the beginning of the?
Sometimes at the beginning stages, it's like we'll do it, and we're like, what do we fix about it? And then we'll laugh about it, fix about it, and then once we get to right about now, we've just done it so many times where it's just
like lines
muscle
now.
memory. Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah.
I mean, because it's all choreographed exactly. Okay.
That was one of the first things we did for the process, because this is such a stage combat heavy show of just pushing, shoving, slapping, kneeing. It's everywhere. It was one of the first things that we had to do throughout the process, because we didn't realize that at first about how heavy it is in the show. So we've been doing it since like first couple weeks of rehearsals.
And you started rehearsing when?
As soon as we got back to class.
After this semester.
Yep.
So like the 9th of January or whenever that was.
Okay. So Kevin, I would think that this whole combat emphasis has sort of invigorated the theater program.
I think it has. Yeah,
Does it attract
I think it has.
students, or just everybody just wants to do it?
I think it does, and I think it will, even more and more and more and more. There's been a lot of travel involved in it, and as Chris points out, there's a lot of subsidization of it. These certifications cost a lot of money, and they're getting paid for.
So
and they're getting paid for in a couple of ways, as far as I understand it. And, Professor Fritzkes would explain this a lot better than I'm going to. But number one, we've got Bridges Larson scholarship money. You know all about that. But number two, there's a registered student organization that we've created and Fritzkes is the mentor for the Bear Brawlers.
Oh, I didn't know about
Yes,
that.
the Bear
Okay.
Brawlers. And of course, there's money that comes with that
Sure.
SGA money and other money. So there's these are glorious opportunities
Yeah.
for students to get certifications that are really quite meaningful professionally, in a way that doesn't break their own personal banks.
So Professor Fritzkes is the faculty member who is
Yes.
certified, but how many students are certified, have gone through this
I mean,
process?
I couldn't say.
Are you? I mean, you
I'm
are?
certified in 2, and
Okay.
I know that
Two
for
what?
2 certifications. So I'm certified in broadsword,
Okay.
which is like Braveheart, and single sword, which is like fencing.
Okay.
But you're also certified in unarmed.
I am not because we're doing the certification next year. I've just done shows where
Okay.
I've done it before, so I'm not technically certified, but so I couldn't.
But next year you will be, because
will
you'll go
be
through the
next year, yeah.
certification. And so how do these certifications work? Are they a year? Are they
No, so what happens is, sorry. So what
No,
happens?
no, you go
take
ahead.
over, Chris?
Yeah, what happens
Please,
is
rescue me.
we show up. We showed up January 1st or January 2nd, and then usually the class is taught in a full semester, but we do it in a week intensive sort of deal. So we show up on the first day of the week, and then we go until like 5. So it's like 8 to 5 every day for about 7 or 8 days. And then we take a certification test. There's a fight master that comes down that we have to pay for them to come down.
Okay.
So they come down and they watch us do our performances that we learn from our teacher. And then he says, okay, I believe that these people actually learned the skills, and then they'll give you a pass or a fail.
Great. And that's going to make you more versatile when you get out
Yes,
of here to
it's
work.
really good to be
Yeah.
able to put on your
Yeah,
resume because a
absolutely.
lot of shows during like summer stock theater, like a lot of Shakespeare shows require sword fighting,
Oh, yeah.
which you want to be certified in.
So Chris, what do you want to do when you graduate? I know you've got a couple more years here.
Yeah, I still want to continue to learn, so I'm still deciding about what I want to do. I think I might spend some time, maybe go down to LA or Atlanta, but I primarily do a lot more plays, like contemporary shows that not as many musicals or Shakespeare, and it's a little bit more, leaning more towards film acting.
Okay.
Is what I kind of like to do, or I like to do contemporary realism, I like to say, and so I want to do some more of that. Maybe go down to Los Angeles for a little bit, but also I want to continue to learn more because I feel like I can still better my craft. So grad school would probably be the next move.
Straight on?
Maybe. We're still
Okay,
deciding. Yeah.
okay. So Kevin, what you know about him? I mean, obviously, I can tell he's quite a theater student. He's the kind. This is the kind of thing that we need in our students. The go-getiveness, the work ethic, all that kind of stuff. How successful can he be? Do you think?
Very.
Good.
But
Good.
I tell students this all the time, to not underestimate how tough it is.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
See,
sure.
Chris
yeah.
doesn't. Chris does not underestimate that. That's one of the.
Because you've seen it.
Yeah, I was in California, so
Yeah.
I've seen.
He's awake about all of this. Some students are kind of dreamy.
Yeah.
Dreams without the work are just fantasies.
There you go. There you go.
He's got, and it's really because of his drive. He's got a lot of future ahead of him.
Well, this is going to be exciting to watch. Well, in the meantime, we can see him on stage at Snow Fine Arts, Bridges Larson Theater. Give us the details about Fool for Love.
Well, let's see if I can remember them. You have.
I've got a cheat sheet.
Yeah, you have, why don't you remember them for me, please?
February 20th, 21st, 27th, and 28th at 7:30, at 2 p.m. on February 22nd and 28th. Tickets?
Tickets are available at Reynolds Box Office. I think they're $10 for the general population, but faculty, staff, and students each get 2, thanks to our wonderful fine arts fee.
Okay. And what about? Well, I've just noticed it was a Pulitzer Prize finalist in 1984. What do you know? What won that year?
I do not.
Okay.
I do not. But his play Buried Child in either 83 or 83, I guess.
Okay.
Did win the Pulitzer. So.
Okay.
That was his really
His sweet spot.
It really was.
Yeah, he had 3 nominations in a row.
Oh,
and
I
then-
didn't realize
yeah,
that.
he had 3
Okay.
nominations in a row and then won his last one.
Okay.
3. I thought it was just a 2.
Okay. So what?
See, he's doing his what I'm talking about.
So, what before people come to see what do they need to do to sort of prepare themselves for this play? Just does it need to be sort of a blank slate, or do they need to be thinking about something?
I would only suggest an open-mindedness. Sometimes it's tough for audiences when the narrative is confusing, and the narrative in this play is deliberately confusing, and to just take it as a poem and not a newspaper article.
Okay, open for interpretation.
Yeah.
Very much.
You can see the way that Eddie and May talk to each other. The conversation that they have is very realistic. You're going to be able to understand what they're saying. But then something gets thrown into the mix where you're like, that doesn't make sense in real life.
Yeah.
And then you kind of just have to think about what that means about what's going on with their relationship as they're in this motel room.
So it will require some audience participation mentally.
Mentally.
Yeah, yeah. So excellent. Okay, well, I can't wait to see it. And thanks for coming and joining us on Spotlight. And really, thanks for the demonstration.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Donna.
Love it. We'll be back again next time for Spotlight.